top of each other.
This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, it's Laverne Lovell, and I'm calling to order the meeting of the Board of Appeals in the town of Dover to talk about electing a member to serve as the chair in the absence of our fabulous chairman who has left. So there's 5 of us here, and we need to discuss the way to move forward. And we've got a meeting on May 23rd that we sort of have to get somebody to cover for. And then hopefully after that, we'll have a new chair. So anybody want to say anything?
Sure. So I guess just let's all say who we have in attendance. If you could just read your name and say here, that'd be great.
Okay, Laverne Lovell here.
Nancy Green here.
Mike Donovan here.
Nadir Ahmed here.
Okay. So Nadir, do you want to take this position on? I told Chris that I would do it. You know, if nobody else wants to do it, you might have more experience with this kind of thing, even though I've been on the board for 20 years.
I think you are probably far more well-versed in what we deal with. I shared before, I think, with others perhaps, but you know, I generally don't think I'm going to be able to take on the level of commitment that's going to be required just with work and life right now.
We're just talking about one night now. We're just talking about getting over this May 23rd. After that.
I appreciate that. But again, I think that I probably am not going to be in a good position to take that on. You know, I practice in a very different area of law, whereas I think Alan had the deeper familiarity because this is what he did, and my practice is far afield from kind of real estate in general. So my preference is not to take that on, and sort of hopefully leverage your experience if you're willing to sort of serve in that role even on the interim.
Okay, then I guess somebody has to nominate me, or just move that Laverne Lovell be the temporary chair of the zoning board. That's what it says on my paper here.
So Nancy or Mike, do you have anything to add?
The only thing I'd have to add is, what support will Laverne have from a legal standpoint? I just want to make sure that, you know, Laverne, obviously you're so qualified, but there's that legal part that Nadir obviously sees very close and says, I don't want to go anywhere near that. So will we have legal counsel?
Yeah, and that's it's a good opportunity to discuss, you know, how this is going to function in the short term, and until, you know, potentially we have a new member on board and, you know, a more permanent chair is identified and selected. You know, we're between myself and town administration, between me and Michael Blanchard, in conjunction with town council, will be able to provide necessary support to the board. You know, I think they'll definitely be a resource to help out with this upcoming application and support Laverne, you know, with some of the you know, the implications in review of the application. So I think that's kind of a summary of how it will work at a high level, and then, you know, depending on whatever the result here is, I'll work with you know, if Laverne is willing to take that on, I'll work with Laverne to coordinate between, like I said, myself, Michael, and town council on the upcoming app.
Though, Nancy, I'll also say that, you know, I'm not, so I work for an organization, and so I'm not licensed to practice in the way that I could represent sort of the board and sort of engage in sort of the practice of law as part of my participation here. So I think even I, or anyone really in that seat, would need to rely on town council for sort of their legal.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
But I'll continue to contribute as best as I can in the way that I normally would too. Just
great.
Mike,
okay.
Mike, do you have any questions?
No, I just think we need to have a figurehead for the next meeting, and then from there we can, you know, try to acquire, you know, a 5th member, and hopefully that 5th member might be the Alan Fryer quality and caliber, and it'll probably be a moot point at that point. But I think for this, you know, session, you know, I'll make a motion to appoint Laverne, you know, interim chair of the ZBA, and, you know, just until, you know, until the ADU one expires, and then, you know, we're left hanging again.
I don't know if we can say, is it just for the ADU? Or we just put Laverne as a temporary chair? Do we
Okay.
want to close it with the ADU and then she's done? I'll leave it up to you, Chris. Go ahead.
I'll just leave it up to, you know, other people to decide what's the right, you know, wording for that. But, you know, I think she would function really well as the permanent chair, but she may not want, you know, the responsibility or the, you know, or the burden that comes with this. Because, you know, like me, you know, she's not, you know, a legal eagle. And
Right.
I know that I personally, you know, would struggle and fail to, you know, when you get a really hard case that comes along. Like, I think there are another 2 big 40Bs that are potentially coming at us. I mean, big. And you need somebody that can navigate their way through the minefield and, you know, not get the town in trouble.
So Mike, can you just restate your motion?
I could, before, I mean, here's the thing. So if the board gets a new member, I think that presents an opportunity to reorganize the positions, where you wouldn't have to make that specific of a motion, and just keep it general to chair. And then, you know, when the new member comes on, that's the opportunity the board will reorganize the seats.
Okay, so how would you like the motion to be worded?
I provided there's a good example in the packet of materials that I sent out, that could be a good foundation for it if somebody wants to reference that. I think, you know, you probably could put the word temporary in there. You know, pending, you could say temporary pending new member.
I move that Laverne be the temporary chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Is that?
Second. All in favor?
I don't know, am I voting for my? Sure. So does anybody on the board have any
No.
people in mind that
Hold on
might?
just a sec.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry, 1 second. I mean, I know there was a motion, it was seconded. If everybody could just, you know, name and confirm your vote.
Mike Donovan, aye.
Nancy Green, aye.
Nadir Ahmed, aye.
Laverne Lovell, aye.
Okay, great.
So does anybody on this board know of any people in town that might be good for this position? You know, other
Than you?
we need to draw somebody new in. I was talking to Jonathan Fryer, not related to Alan Fryer. He's been here his whole life. He sort of chuckled. I mean, that's what he does, real estate law, but he works with O'Brien. We've seen him many times at our meetings, but he doesn't live in.
How about you, Chris? Have you had any luck?
I haven't heard of anybody specifically, and I will say, you know, we got to keep we have limited items on the agenda, so we can't expand the discussion too much. But I will say, you know, we're definitely searching for that member. I know myself and Michael are aware of the need, and I believe members of the Board of Selectmen are aware as well. So I don't have a current status update on the search, but I know everyone's aware, and I think there's going to be an effort to get a member here, you know, shortly.
Perfect.
Thought about
That's
reaching out
great.
to I forget her name, but Erica, who was
Yes.
prior member of the board, and I think she was also perhaps a lawyer.
Yeah. If anybody has, just to take it offline, if anybody has any suggestions for potential people, feel free to get in contact with me. Send me an email, give me a phone call, and we'll discuss from there.
Okay, should we close the meeting so we can talk?
I think, you know, if somebody, that's all we really had on the agenda.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Go ahead, Mike.
Nope. Motion to close the hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Nancy Green, aye.
Mike Donovan, aye.
Nadir Ahmed, aye.
Laverne Lovell, aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Laverne, we'll see you on the 23rd. Good luck.
But
Yeah.
yeah, fine.